Next, we'll take down the ZTP configuration for site set 2. Let's configure this. It's actually very simple and basically 3 points. Let's directly configure it, starting with, since site 2's controller version is 20.1.0.1, we'll log in directly. The counter password, the account is just admin, and the password is Huawei F123. It should be the same here, admin password Huawei F123. Okay, logging in, wrong, maybe the password was changed. No mistake, let me explain. The counter requires that the requirement is our interface is spawn 3 and spawn 4. They are 25G10 to 11. This interface is 10G10 to 11. At this point, there's an issue during the configuration process. It means this one is down. What we need first, what do we need? We need to first bring spawn 3 online. After bringing it online, change the mode of this interface. After changing it, then bring up leaf 3. There should be no problem. Be careful at this time. Then spawn 3 and leaf 3. That's what counter requires. They need to get the management addresses 172.21.23.3.31 and 32. So similarly, when configuring their address values, you definitely have to start from 31. Make sure to note that, right? Then this address block, let's configure it well. Okay, we'll talk more carefully when configuring. First, open this controller. Once inside, there are a few things to confirm whether they have been configured. Firstly, in this place, the counter should be set up. Let's click here and take a look. It should be here. Within the southbound interfaces, check if there's an SFTP configured. Southbound service is open, right? There's one pre-monitoring, southbound, right? Maybe it's in this area. Let's see if it's this area. Is this SFTP enabled? Counter should be running. It's not configured, right? If not, we need to manually enable it. Just fill in any port. Counter should be on. It should be. Then we need to create a user. Regarding the user, well, counter should already have our name as an SFTP user. User permissions must include upload and download capabilities. This one is 16 characters. We use Huawei with the first letter capitalized. So the first letter is Huawei. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Directly, yes. This Huawei at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Confirm it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Make sure to confirm this. Then let's see if there are issues. Then the second thing is on the device side, whether the fingerprint has been enabled. If the fingerprint isn't enabled, then it indicates a failure. A fingerprint, SFG fingerprint. This must enable trust on first learn fingerprints. No need to enable this lock. Counter this part, then at that point just displace, what I just said about the SFTP. Just take a screenshot later. Take a screenshot here showing you've looked at this area will be sufficient. Then another thing to check is a policy. Let me check this area. This policy is we need to make sure the first time you come up, it does not require configuration. Let's see where this isn't easy to find. Counter has it too. Check this, where is it? Operations, right? This place, I'm checking if it's this spot. I see there's a policy setting, right? Automatic sync on first online. This needs to be turned off. Needs to be turned off. Then this place is, so what does counter mean here? Counter here is that leaf 3. I'm not sure if we can log in. I'm not sure. In this case, I'm sure the configuration is correct. What I mean is we need to do a middle calculation on this leaf 3. This leaf 3, because when it comes up, I wasn't sure if I could log in. Leaf 3, this is it. That's how it is. Our leaf 3 is replaced by a 5700. Counter is also 658 FM658 device. So it might also be that's also an M20. The address is 172.21.23.199. This address is for all our C1, C2, and so on, including the spawn 3 and so on. Their gateway is this address, right? And also it's like, if you can log in, you can check to confirm. Remember to check if this middle calculation is configured. Remember to check this out, DHCP relay. But this command is a bit different. I'll look at it on the C above. We'll check it on this spawn above. Spawn 3, this command is a bit different, but we definitely have it. counter should have it too. So when I went up there, this place went smoothly without any errors, very smoothly. Let's take a look. Interface VLAN 20, right? Where it says VLAN 20, interface VLAN 20 IP. If this address, I'll just configure a port 172.21.23. Let's see if this works, if there's a conflict. We have this, right? If that's set up, then I won't worry about it. What to configure? DHCP. Let me check. DHCP CP select relay, right? This is quite different. Select relay, right? DCP select relay server. Let me check the relay. One is bounding. Bounding server 172.21.23.99. Let's see what's wrong with the server. IP 172.21.21.23.99. DHCP select relay. We also need to set up a gateway here. Gateway 172.21.21.23.99. We don't need to worry about it. And our environments framework is also already configured. No need to worry about this part. Actually, Counters framework, if you can log in, just go and check it out. If you can't log in, let it be. Don't bother with it. Then we first log into the controller. Click on the network regulations. Note, this is a sensor 2-site controller. Its address is 202.1.0.100.33.93. Don't get the address wrong. Don't log into the Site 1 controller by mistake. That would be wrong. Okay, we have confirmed this here. That is selecting network regulations. Starting from scratch, there's a problem here. Let me mention it. Netcamp account and SNMP account are only needed during the initial setup. What do you mean? Just like my environment, this is the first time. Okay, I need to configure an account and password. Once that's configured, this Netcamp account and SNMP account become global resources. Then there's no need to log in and configure again the second or third time. This is only necessary the first time. Counter shouldn't need this, it already has it. If it didn't, you would see an interface. If it has it, there's no interface. Alright, let's configure directly. So span is one device, leaf is another device. We select this leaf device as one, the span center is ASN. Okay, copy over, copy it over, add it in. Then this is what Fibonacci counter requires. What does counter require? It requires that Fibonacci to be manually entered. Needs manual creation. So if it doesn't ask you to create manually and asks you to create automatically, then what? Just create it. Because counter requires manual entry of fabric, we don't assist you with fabric. Regarding district names, counter doesn't really have requirements. I'll give it a Fibonacci to fabric 2. This address value then, pay attention here. This place is ultimately where our span 3 and leaf 4 get an M1 THQ. Counter demands span 1's address must be span 2, must be span 2. So we say this address must be span 1. It is 172.21.23.31 is 172.21.23. We can even give it a 35. There are just 2 devices. This 9conf is just to show everyone. Alright then, 9conf password Huawei F123. This doesn't need to be changed. It's SNP, we all use SNP. It's SNMP, we all use SNMP. SNMP. No need to worry about the port. Today's protocol is SHA, password Huawei F123. This is a ES128. For example, on site 3.1, this protocol is the same. It's the SHA username, Huawei F123. This is a ES128. The password is the same. So in this part, my suggestion is to keep the environment the same. Later, if the SNMP doesn't work after configuration and the controller can't include the device, you can go to site 2 span and leaf 4 to see if SNMP is missing. See if there are any omissions. This can be a reference. Then leaf 4's address is 172.21.23. We start from 40.0, right? 172.21.23.04/24. Starting from 172.21.23.40 to 172.21.23.45 is fine. The gateway must not be wrong, but 172.21.23.99 is fine. 172.21.23.99 is fine. Slot we set to 1025. For counter here, if it requires you follow the requirements. If not, just fill in any value. Alright, for telnet, we have S7L17 password Huawei F123. Huawei F123. In this place, counter has requirements. There are requirements. For this bundle, we give Huawei F1234 because the first time you log in, you need to change the password. We will set it to Huawei F1234. When logging in, change it to Huawei F123. But for counter, just confirm whatever password is required and set it accordingly. This part might not be a password. Let's proceed this way for now. Counter might require Huawei, something like $E2. Maybe, I don't remember exactly. F1234. Configuration for on. The on protocol is BGP. No, on should be. Let me think, this is OSPF. Overlay is BGP. That number is 200. 200, make sure this is correct. This cannot be wrong. Field number is 1. Ignore the area ID. And the V-type address, we don't have man tag. It's a single device. For the address, counter must remember, it's the 25 port, right? 25G1012. What is this? This is the spec downstream. What it is this interface. It's the 25G101. We are 10G101, right? Let's change it. We can copy it and then change it. This place must not be wrong. If it's wrong, the GDP will fail. Because how should I say GDP is basically a giveaway? It's supposed to be easy. If you make a mistake and reconfigure, you will waste a lot of time. This is a NIF downstream, right? The NIF upstream should be an interface on NIF3. Okay, please add. This is an interconnection address. The interconnection address is for SPA-N3 and NIF3, connected to the 10G10 to one address. The address is 12. 12.1.1. We start from 12 to 12.1.1.1.30. It doesn't matter. Anyways, two addresses, we configure them as we like. For example, 45 is fine. It doesn't matter. The subnet mask is 30. Make sure the subnet mask is correct. Configure this way, SPA-N3 is 13, SPA-AN4 and IF4 are 14. The VTYPE address is 10.1.1. 12, right? It should be 12.1.1.1 to 12.1.1.1.25 to 9, right? 9 is fine because it's just, but if configured this way, it means span won't be able to get the Nevada address. So after configuring NIF4's Nevada address is 12.1.1.1.1 for SPA-N3, we need to manually configure it to 12.1.2.1.254. Okay, this is a BGP peer address. This is for the 13 network. This is 13.1.1. This is from 13.1.1 to 13.1.9. From 13.1.1.1 to 13.1.1.1, 32 bits. Does counter have any requirements for this mic part? If so, change it at the end. Change it. Alright, set it to 000. For example, 01. Look at counter. If there are requirements, follow those. If not, do as you wish. Confirm. But remember this part, you must add devices. Frequently root. If this is not configured, it will definitely fail. What does this root mean? It means that after we set up span, we need to let it know where the controller is by manually configuring a static root. The destination address is 2.1.0.0/24. Of course, if you set it to 100, that's fine too. That also works, right? We'll set it to 0, all right? 0.24 is fine. The gateway address is 172.21.23.99. This must be correct. Let's confirm if there are any issues. Let's confirm again. This is 1, right? No problem. This is not bound. This is not bound. No problem. Fabric 2, no problem. This 31 to 35, no problem. We don't need to worry about it. 2304045. All right, no problem. All right, no problem. Once there are no problems, we can move on. Okay. Next step. Wait a moment. This is a bit slow. This is very slow. We won't worry about it for now. Let's go to span 3 first. Clear the configuration. Reset. Save. The ZTP setup is very, very slow. Do not save. Confirm. This setup must be watched carefully. Pay close attention to it. Do not select all at once. First, set up span. After setting up span, After setting up span, needs to get configuration information from span. So set up span first. Once span is successfully set up, it's 100% complete. Then set up leaf. Alright, we click setup. At this point, you can go do other things. In the exam, you can do it this way. Once you set up, you configure ZP first. After configuration, then at this point, you proceed with other tasks, such as set tender, MLAG, OP, BGP. This way, it saves time. Let's wait a moment. Once it gets the address, we can pause it for a bit. The setup takes about 30 minutes, or 30 minutes, I estimate. We just have to wait now. In the exam, this ZTP setup is worth about 7 or 8 points. I can't remember exactly. It really feels like 3 points. Let's pause for now. Pause for a bit.